This is New Delhi. That's the Red Fort, Jama Masjid. This is the old Delhi. What the heck is this? I don't know. Delhi Gate. This is the gate of India, and this is the Lotus Temple. This is the blend of Indian arts with Persian arts, Central Asia also. Hi, good morning friends. I'm still in New Delhi, India, and I'm with my friend Laba Dorji.
Hello everybody.
And now we are going to Red Fort, and we're gonna take the subway station because it's very close. So let's try the subway or the MRT in New Delhi. And after that, we also wanna go, maybe if there is time, wanna go to Qutub Minar, a very historical place. It's the beginning of Islam in New Delhi. So let's go. Here we are in the main bazaar in New Delhi. So actually, if you go that direction, we came from there yesterday night. That's the railway station. And now there are many temples, and from here you can see already the gate to the subway station, line number 2. So let's see how to buy the tickets here. Yeah. So there's ticket here, and also vending ticket. Okay, so we buy English first, and then token. Only for okay. Yeah, this one also cannot buy token, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so we have to buy token directly here. So this is the gate, and you go just scan this one. But I don't know this guy taking so long. Okay, that's it. Just scan. This is the information. So we are here, Ramakrishna Ashram, and we're gonna change at Mandi House. We go towards the Red Fort, and this is the platform. So only 30 rupees, very cheap. This is the train. Let's go. It's full. Now we are changing trains. This interchange, Mandi House. So yeah, a lot of people, and we're gonna queue to go up. Many shops in the interchange. See, the train is just arriving. Already on the train. So Mandi House. Now we're going to Lal Killa. This is the Red Fort. We are here at Lal Killa station. Lal Killa is actually, it means Red Fort. Lal is for red, and Killa is from Kala, red. Fort. So let's go out and hope it doesn't rain, because the weather report says it's gonna rain the whole day. Let's go. Lal Killa. Jumbo King. Yeah, many burgers. Combo of the day, 100 rupees only. And here is the metro station map. So before we were on the blue line, change to purple. Just outside, and this is the Red Fort. It's cloudy because it's almost raining. I can see that on that part it already rains. So I think we better quickly get inside and maybe enter the palace when it rains, and then come out when finished. Yeah. So you can see some temples. And it says Red Fort, go here. I think from there. This is New Delhi. Or actually, to be more precise, this is Old Delhi. Hi. Hi. Oh, don't tell me it's closed because it's Monday. Because Monday usually some museums are closed. Guys, so it's unfortunate. Monday closing days of many museums, including the Red Fort, because now it's a museum. That's the Red Fort. Basically, this is the Red Fort, commissioned in 1639 by Shah Jahan, because he wanted to move the capital of the Mughal dynasty from Agra to Delhi. And so they moved it here, and it became the capital of Mughal Empire for 200 years. You can see that the train is coming. We better be quick. You can see that many people are disappointed because they cannot get in. But I think it's okay, just looking at it from outside. Save us money. Yeah, anyway, that's the residence of the Mughal Emperor. Now we are walking to the Juma Masjid, the Friday Mosque, also built around the same time. Basically, because it's under Shah Jahan, the builder or the architect of the Red Fort is the same one with the one who constructed Taj Mahal in Agra. Okay, let's keep going. Jama Masjid, turn right. It started raining already, but that's the mosque. I think let's go quickly there and enter it. As usual, around the mosque there are bazaar or market. Here they sell clothes and shoes. This is the Juma Mosque. See, also using red bricks built, I think also in the time of Shah Jahan. So let's take off our shoes and enter. We have Laba also trying to clean up. Inside and in front of the main building with other people. And that's the mihrab. With a big chandelier now. And beyond this point, entry is only for worshippers. Guys, so that's the mosque and 300 rupees gone like that. But anyway, that's good. You know, you help pay for the preservation of the monument. And this is the market right in front of the mosque. You already sell. And now I think we'll just walk a little bit to Delhi Gate. It's the old gate of the city of Delhi. This is I don't eat. And this biryani. And my friend is trying. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. You want to try?
No, I'm okay. You can imagine eating biryani in front of the mosque. You can see it says 1656 by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. And you eat biryani in this ancient street 400 years old. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Now we are gonna continue to Delhi Gate through this market and some residentials, old one. So we'll see a little bit of old Delhi, at least towards the Delhi Gate, which is basically the gate to the old city, which was fortified in the past. This is the old Delhi. Many kind of snacks, restaurants, Mughal food, Mughal restaurant. Shahi Cool Point. Yeah. Wow. Shahi Sharmal. I think this is basically the Muslim quarter, I guess. And this bread omelette, I think. And some alleys. Very interesting. And you have apples. Probably from Manali area. Okay. So you can see the pot, traditional banana, money changer, and perfumes. Yeah, quite interesting. We'll keep going. They sell some carpets also. And again more perfume. Okay. Welcome to India. You can see it's not just cables but also pipes. What the heck is this? I don't know. But this is the Muslim quarter. You can see there is even more mosque. Even this one is mosque. Yeah. It's very interesting. This is life in India, in Old Delhi. Probably it hasn't changed much for 400 years except for the, motorcycles. Yo. We are approaching the main road, but as you can see, it's actually less crowded. Usually it's even more crowded deep inside the old city. The old city that looks like a slum, but it's not exactly a slum because it's been here for a long time. We'll try the ice cream, Mr. Kulfi's. This is the ice cream, vanilla ice cream. And I wanna ask Laba, how's your
Red velvet.
red velvet?
It's good.
It's good? Okay, nice. So let me try mine. This ice cream.
How is it?
It's good.
Ah,
It's sweet.
vanilla.
It's good to eat cold ice cream in the summer. Thank you.
Ah,
So I just exit the, I wouldn't call it slum, but it's the old Delhi. And now we are here. Delhi Gate. Mughal architecture. Yeah, it's quite great. And it's quite strange because, if you are Delhi, you don't have Delhi Gate. Like for example, if you are Jerusalem, you don't have Jerusalem Gate. But you have, for example, Jaffa Gate, means like the gate facing towards Jaffa. So if you are Delhi, you don't say Delhi Gate. So it shows that this is actually a newer city at that time. It was built by Shah Jahan. It's actually Shah Jahanabad. So they built a gate here, Delhi Gate, because it faces towards Delhi, somewhere there. That's why it's called Delhi Gate. And that's why here you can see it's called Delhi, a city of cities. Because actually there are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there were 7 cities now joined together is New Delhi. So the Delhi over there, the newer one, Shah Jahanabad built Shah Jahan over here, and then the real New Delhi built by the British even more south. So like there are 7 cities. Now we're gonna continue. I think we're gonna go find like older monuments. I'm thinking about going to Qutub Minar, the first minaret, the first actually sign of Islam in Delhi. Let's go, guys. So we will go to India Gate first because it's famous and it's close by. Maybe 30 minutes by bus. We're gonna take the bus. So We are already on the bus. Just like this. A lot of people. The bus ride was really bad. It's overcrowded. The AC is not working. Well, it's working but not full. And now we're already near the gate of India, just in front of us. So we're gonna go straight. And my friend think that this is child marriage. You can see the people in front, the one in blue shirt. I'll show you. It's that one. Anyway, we're finally here, and you can see the India gate is that one. They want to copy the one in France, but I think it's not as spectacular. Guys, this is the gate of India. There's some writings on top, so I'll show you. It says India, to the death of the Indian armies who fell and are honored in France and Flanders, in Mesopotamia, Persia, East Africa, during the Third Afghan War. I think it's about around the World War, I think, not sure, but it says something like that. And this is the location around the gate. It's a big park, a circular park. People are taking pictures, shorts, videos, they're dancing. Yeah. And there's a war memorial there. And this one is the statue of Chandra Bose. Maybe he's a military general, right?
He was also one of the freedom fighters
Freedom fighter, okay.
during the time of Gandhi.
Time of Gandhi. Okay. That's interesting. There's a war memorial also over there. So yeah, that's basically the gate of India. It's really big, but not as impressive as I thought it would be. And there is the year. It's written there, MCM XIX. So it's mean 1919. So it's 1919, I guess. Basically, this is to honor those who died in the war, World War I and Afghan War. You can see the names are written here on the wall, including the name of the regiments. For example, this one, it says 15th Ludhiana 6 Hafildar Naik Sepoy, and there are the names Guman Singh, Muhammad Husan, Adel Singh, and so on. Behind me is the gate of India, and right there, going straight, is the residence of the Viceroy of India before, and now I think maybe it's the presidential palace. It's not so clear because of the pollution. Well, New Delhi used to be the worst city in terms of air quality, even though now maybe not the worst, but still among the worst. Here you can see, so we just from here, India Gate, and there's actually a major artery all the way to Wastrapati Bhawan. It's the palace of the Viceroy, and there are parliament buildings. All of this is pretty new because New Delhi is actually a new city. That's why it's called New Delhi, not the old Delhi. So it's in 1911, Delhi is announced as the new capital of India. Before it was in Kolkata, and they start building all this, the India Gate and everything, and the palace for the Viceroy, which is now like the palace of the president. Now we are walking to the MRT station, to the subway. It's a bit far, maybe walking 15 minutes from here. And these are the main road in New Delhi. So just now that was the one to the parliament from the gate of India. And these are the roads nearby. It's still big roads. Even in New Delhi, you can see the monkeys. New Delhi. Yeah, more monkeys over there also. Finally, Khan Market, the metro line. Let's go. We're going to the Lotus Temple. It's the Baha'i house of worship. We're already here. And we are going to Kalkaji Mandir. That's where the Lotus Temple. We have arrived at Kalkaji Mandir, so we're gonna walk to the Lotus Temple over there. Actually, I just went into the supermarket. It's Reliance by the richest man in India, Ambani, and I bought the Korean noodles. Hopefully, we can cook in the hostel. Okay, so let's continue to the Lotus Temple. We continue walking towards the Lotus Temple. Even though Google Maps says that it's closed, but we'll try. At least we'll see it from outside. Here I think there are many other temples, not just Baha'i, because I think it's selling for, you know, for visiting temples. I think Hindu, but I don't know. So let's keep going. There is a way to ISKCON temple, or maybe Iskon temple, but we're not going there. We wanna actually see this Lotus Temple. You can already see a little bit from here. I think you actually should go from outside, not inside this park. But let's see. Yeah, somehow it looks a bit like Sydney Opera House, yeah? Is that one? And maybe it's really close because I don't see any people inside the complex. So we will just circle this park and look for a good vantage point to see the Lotus Temple, because I think it's really close because there is no people there. Yeah, I think this is the closest we can be without tree cover. Here, this is more clear. And this is the Lotus Temple. Quite interesting, but I'm quite sure it's really close, so I think no need to go there. This is the closest we can be. We're gonna continue with electric bus 428 going to somewhere near the Qutub Minar, and that will be our last destination. Electric bus 428 from Nehru Place. It will go to somewhere near Qutub Minar. Guys, so the bus took 1 hour and 10 minutes from near the Lotus Temple to Qutub Minar. Well, it's not exactly Qutub Minar, but it's already very near. We can just walk there in maybe 5-10 minutes. Cross the road, let's go. Qutub Complex. This area was center of power during 11th to 13th century AD. So it's from the Ghurid dynasty, and then becoming the Delhi Sultanate. And I think this is the parking. Entry is probably somewhere here. It's supposed to be in front. I can see the Qutub Minar already. It's that one. It's 72.5 meters tall, and it was started in 1199 by Qutbuddin Aibak and completed in 1220 by his son-in-law Iltutmish. Here we can see some old structures, and this is the ticket counter. I just bought the ticket. It's 600 rupees for foreigners. So let's go. We are inside, and this is the map. Basically, we bought the ticket here. I think we are here, and we're gonna walk. The main attraction is the Qutub Minar, and there is the first mosque in India, and there is another minar or minaret. So this is the explanation. So actually this area is called Lal Kot. This is the first city among the 7 legendary cities of Delhi, and then it was conquered by Muhammad Ghori. This one is from Ghor Kingdom in Afghanistan in 1192 AD. And actually his general Qutbuddin Aibak was placed as a viceroy, and later he actually built the Qutub Minar, that one, and the mosque. And that's when actually Islam entered India. So in the 12th century, it was politically Delhi was under Muslim rulers. And this is the style is very similar to the one in Afghanistan near Gaur, so the capital. There is, if you know, there is Minar Jam, that's in Afghanistan. And the style is very similar, and since then it's used by many other rulers to make this kind of minaret. It's called Victory Tower. But then it's also used for azan. That's why they also built a mosque, which will be the first, which is the first mosque in India. It's that one. So let's check. Here you can see it says World Heritage Monument, Qutub Group of Monuments. So the monuments, of course, the Qutub Minar is this one. Now it's backlight, so we're gonna circle from there. And the Quwat ul Islam Mosque, which is right in front of us, but it seems it's been destroyed and not fully restored, so it doesn't look like a mosque anymore. But this is the mosque. This is the Qutub Minar. Wow. And it's actually with at least 3 different styles. So the first one is actually Ghurid, you can see, sealed with many inscriptions, Arabic from the Quran, and it's finished by his successor, his son-in-law, and so on. Imagine the work of the Ghurids. I think they are actually descendant of the Tajikis of Central Asia. They are Tajik ethnic group, and then control the western part of Afghanistan, Gaur, the capital. And they made this. See, at the bottom, it's a Tajiki Persian style, and also a bit up, same, but like the next one, it's basically a restoration later on. I forget whether it's actually under the Persian or the Afghan Durrani. Anyway, let's go visit the mosque. Here is the mosque. You can see it looks like a Hindu temples. Oh, actually, yeah, I have to say something. So it's the minar is actually from red bricks. And I also heard that actually many bricks are taken from the nearby Hindu temples and Jain temples, like 27 of them. It's written in one of the inscriptions. So some styles are clearly Indian, like this one, but you can see the inscription, that's Arabic. So this is really great. I think it's one of the place that you must visit if you come to Delhi. And see this. Wow, it's really good. And there's still an iron pillar, so that stays here. But here, this is basically the mosque. Imagine, from the 1200th century, with the giant minaret over there. Wow. This is a very intricate lattice work. So these are stones, but you can see there are holes, right? Wow. Stones placed on top of one another. And even here, you can see it's not very Islamic. More like deities, Hindu or Buddhist deities. But this is a mosque. That's why it is very interesting. They use many stones and bricks from the nearby temples. That's why even like this, I'm so sure this is not Islamic. Yeah, you can see. Actually, if you hire a guide, they might actually show you which part are like from the Hindu temples. This is the blend of Indian arts with Persian arts, Central Asia also. Wow, you can see. So it's built 1 decade after the Minerva jam in Afghanistan. Wow, amazing. Yeah, so you can see the change in styles from the bottom one, the middle one, the center, see, and even the top one. Okay, let's check the mosque also. This is amazing. And probably this one is facing towards Mecca. So I think the mihrab is somewhere there. Well, you can see the sun is over there in the west. And I'll show you this one also, this iron pillar. So there are some explanations here. I'll read it for you. The iron pillar in the courtyard of the Quwat ul Islam means the strength of Islam mosque. Bears Sanskrit inscription in Gupta period Brahmi script. So it's used from the more ancient one, not by the Ghurids, but they still put it in the center because maybe it looks amazing or mesmerizing. So this pillar was actually set up as standard of God Vishnu there from the Chandragupta period, 4th to 5th century. Wow, amazing. Here you can see the Brahmic script telling about King Chandra, probably Chandragupta from the 4th century. And this is fully iron, malleable, 7 meters high, and it shows the technology of the Indians at the time, who can make a very good iron like this that is still not rusting. Only a little rust is occurring at the bottom. And I heard it's like 1 meter actually deep, 1 meter deep. And behind, that's the tower. Wow. Okay, and I'll show you also some inscriptions here. Some are definitely new for restoration, you know, the white marbles. Usually they use different colors to show that it's new. But the more ancient one you can see here. Wow. This is amazing. Very intricate. It's like a print. And it's colorful now. Wow. And I will show you also the explanation of the mosque. I think it's somewhere there. This one is the translation and transcription of the iron pillar. So it tells about the battle of the king in Bengal, and he came back victorious. And basically here it says who having the name of Chandra. That's why they thought it's Chandragupta. See? And also affirming God Vishnu. So this lofty standard, which is the iron pillar of the divine Vishnu, was set up on the hill. Yep. So it's probably taken not from here because there is no remains from the 4th century around this place. So I think the scholars claim that it's probably taken from somewhere else and the iron pillar is brought here. Very amazing. Back to the pillars around the mosque, you can see it's like different style, like this one and that one and the one in the middle. Yeah, it's amazing. The 75 meters minaret, the iron pillar, and the gate. Wow. You can see even birds, green color. Hello. This is the door of the minaret. Yes, that's Arabic scripts. Wow. And let's see this. Ala Dawaza. So it's extended, was further extended by Alauddin Khalji. Alai Darwaza. Wow, this is very beautiful. And this is even more beautiful than the Mughal architecture, in my opinion. And you can see also 6-pointed star. Yeah, the dome, the lattice work, the jali. Yeah, and again, see the dome. Wow. This is the tomb of an imam, alright? Made in Lodi style, even though he was buried in the Mughal Empire. Okay, let's go, and we're gonna circle the whole area. I have had the information board saying like this is the madrasah, so school for Muslim scholars. But yeah, it's destroyed. I don't know by whom. But let's check the inside a little bit. Yeah, with different kind of rocks. So this is what it looks like without much restoration. Wow. Many arches. And this is the center. Wow. Actually, this looks more like a temple. Maybe they actually turn a temple into a madrasah. Yeah, I can imagine. There is one more building. It's over there. Let's check. It is the tomb of Iltutmish, 1211 to 36. So he's the son-in-law and successor of Qutbuddin Aibak, who actually built this. So he was the one who finished the minaret and the mosque. And this is his tomb. Tomb of Iltutmish. Wow. This one is the other minaret. You can see. I don't know whether it's not complete or it was destroyed and only the base is left. Let's get closer. I'm sure before these are actually Hindu temples. In fact, I won't be surprised if this minar is actually built on a big temple in the past. Yeah, I won't be surprised if it was a Hindu temple repurposed and rebuilt. Wow. This is the explanation of Alai Minar. So this incomplete tower is an incomplete by Sultan Alauddin Khalji, 1296 to 1316. But he was not even able to complete the first level. So he wanted to make the dimensions twice that of Qutub Minar. That's why like twice the diameter, I guess. It's not finished and no one continues to build it. Wow, amazing. This is inside of the incomplete minaret. So they have another minaret inside. Wow, it's like this. Okay, let's go. Bye bye. Okay guys, so this is the Qutub Minar complex. It's actually from the Ghurid dynasty and then the Sultanate of Delhi, and only later by the Mughals. So now we are going back. I think that's all. I won't take any more video. Thank you for watching. See you in next video. We're gonna go to Agra. Bye bye.
Ikuti terus Bang Jago, sampai jumpa.